Today, I am joined here with Sachin Wadhawan and Sandra Rogoza. My name is Diana Cervantes, and I am the president of North American Association of Sales Engineers. I will let Sachin introduce himself and Sandra after that. But we have a great lineup today. Ah, so please take it away, guys.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Sachin Wadhawan. I am the author of Trust Your SE. And some of you may have seen me on different podcasts or read the book, but today's topic could not be more timely. I know everybody has been living through the way AI is transforming not just go to market, but our profession of sales engineering in how we become productive or how we leverage technology. So I'm so excited to pass the baton of introduction to Sandra because all of us are going to learn so much about the use of AI in workplace. So Sandra, very excited to have you on this webinar.
Thank you very much, Diana and Sachin. A little bit about me, a very brief, quick introduction. I started, my career has been predominantly in science and technology-based industries or technical-based industries, ranging from clinical neurosciences, upstream oil and gas, the service industry in oil and gas, and then morphing into life sciences and more in microbiology and selling products on a global scale, go-to-market strategies. Back in 2022, when ChatGPT became available, I did a deep dive. I was like a kid in a candy store, and I started using ChatGPT extensively, and to the point where I'm using it on a daily basis from morning till night. I'm also at the point of teaching others how to optimize their prompts to obtain optimal results. And my expertise is in prompt engineering, and particularly with the technique of chunking, which I'm going to be teaching you today and demonstrating. Now I'm going to, let's see here.
That's wonderful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing and hand it over to you. Sandra, what you're going to do is walk over through for our audience through our agenda. So all the things that you're going to cover is walk through what we plan for today. So protecting your job by following strict AI policies, watch a LinkedIn profile makeover by experts at prompting, like you said, and then capturing your personal tone for every email post and deck. So I'll stop my screen share, and then you will begin your demonstration and walk us through with all of those agenda items through your
Perfect.
demonstration. So
Thank
we
you.
will get off camera and the show is yours. So a few housekeeping rules while you're getting set up. Hold your questions. Let Sandra kind of walk through and hopefully she'll answer all of your questions. Use the chat function of your tool to ask any questions. We will monitor that. And then at the end, if you have any questions that have not been answered, we're happy to open it up for questions. Sandra, any other questions or points that you want to make before we get started?
That is it. I have a lot of material to cover, so I suggest we dive in.
Let's do it.
Okay.
We're ready.
Thank you. Briefly, I would like to explain how LLMs function. And I noticed from the people who were attending today that there are various people of different technical expertise and capabilities. So I'm just going to provide a high-level overview of how LLMs function. And this is at a very simplistic level. So every time you hit enter on a prompt, your text gets broken down into what's called tokens. And think of these like the smallest units of meaning that the system can process. Then your text goes into what's called the context window. Now, the LLM has access to massive amounts of information and training data, and it is exponentially massive. So in this instance, imagine that the AI reads like a first grader, one word at a time, or a child first starting to read. Each word it reads is called a token. And most simple words like cat or run or dog are one token. Bigger words like cybersecurity may be chopped into 2 or 3 pieces. The AI counts every single word it reads from you and every word it writes back. So think of the AI's memory like a notepad, for example. So this notepad, it can only hold, let's say, 100 pages. When you are having a long conversation, it writes everything down on this notepad. However, when this notepad gets full, it has to rip out the first few pages to make room for new ones. So that is why if you talk to AI for a long time, it forgets what you said at the beginning. And why this matters is that when you're working on a long proposal or exploratory exercise, avoid writing one long prompt or instruction, or what's typically called chain of thought, into one single prompt. It's better to break it into smaller pieces or chunks to prevent the AI from running out of notepad space and forgetting what you originally asked for. So LLMs, and the critical distinction for sales engineers, LLMs are unable to actually understand your technical requirements. They recognize patterns. And it's like a very sophisticated autocomplete that has seen millions of technical documents. So if you prompt, write about network security, the model is unaware of what your network looks like. It generates text that sounds like network security documentation based on patterns it's learned. But if you prompt, write about network security for a 500 employee financial services firm with a hybrid cloud structure, now you are giving it specific patterns to match. And it's the detail and specificity that is critical to the prompt. So the model can only be as specific as your input. And this is why generic prompts produce generic and obvious looking AI content. So why specificity matters in prompts is that the more specific your parameters, the more predictable and higher quality of the response. So if you prompt in, whether it be ChatGPT or Claude or whatever AI model you're using, Gemini, etc., if you state the prompt, help me with a sales email. Well, who is the email to? And what is the email about? What type of sales? This is like providing an instruction without parameters, and you will get something other than likely what you want, and it could be vague. So in the reverse of that, a good prompt example would be write a follow-up email to a technical decision maker who attended our cybersecurity demo yesterday. They expressed concerns about integration complexity. Acknowledge their concern, provide one specific technical solution, and suggest a 30-minute technical deep dive call. That is one prompt. So why that works better is that you've given the model specific patterns to match: follow-up emails, the technical audience, the specific objection, and a clear next step. So now let us learn how to use it for optimal output. And the chunking prompt method I'm about to show you works specifically because it aligns with how these models process information, and you will see immediate improvement in your prompt outputs. So the chunking method, I'm just going to get my screen set up to share. You want to identify a role. Who is the AI pretending to be? Because now that starts to pull in a focus of what the AI is going to be referencing in the information that it's trying to retrieve. So it's the role. Who's the AI pretending to be? The context. What is the situation and the background? The task. What exactly do you want the AI model to do? The format. How should the output be structured? And constraints. What are the limits and requirements of the output you want it to produce? So remember the notepad analogy. The AI can focus better when the information is organized into clear sections where it focuses on one instruction at a time. Then you tell it to wait, provide it with another instruction, tell it to wait, and then feed it little bits of information so that now it can start to focus in on what it is that you were wanting it to execute on. So it's like writing clean code because structure is essential for the AI model to clearly process your instructions. So I'm going to share my screen. And here is an example. I'm going to, there we are. So this is an example of just a generic prompt, what many people use. So here it's looking for additional clarity. What is the type of security? Who's the target audience? What are the key selling points? What is the tone? So this can all be identified initially in the original prompt sequence of chunking. Because sometimes the AI model will go off and start creating a proposal, and it will pull in all sorts of disparate information, and that's when it starts to produce errors or what is called hallucinations. So the more clear, exact, and concise you can be in your prompts in each chunk of information, the more clear and concise and accurate the outputs are going to be. So, for example, I'm going to go to a new chat. I'm identifying the role. It's a senior sales engineer at a cybersecurity company specializing in endpoint protection for mid-market firms. And this is the critical statement. Please wait for further information because I now want it to take this role into its memory. Okay. Now here's the next prompt. It is responding to, and this is just a company, TechFlow Manufacturing, 500 employees who experienced a ransomware incident 6 months ago. They currently use basic antivirus, but need enterprise-grade protection. The IT director is technical, yet the CFO controls the budget. Please wait for further information. So it's now honing in on where it's drawing information from and how it's going to respond. The next chunk. I want you to write a compelling 3-page proposal that addresses their recent security incident and positions or advanced endpoint detection and response solution as the answer. Please wait for further information. This is an important point here, when you're using acronyms, because oftentimes there are many acronyms. There are many uses for the same acronym, and there's different meanings. So it's important to clearly state what the acronym stands for, what it means, and then you can use the acronym that you can then reference in future communications with your AI model. So it's important that this distinction be clearly stated. Now the next instruction. We're going to talk about structure. This is how I want you to structure the compelling 3-page proposal: executive summary, 1 paragraph, problem overview, solution benefits, technical specifications, pricing overview, and next steps. Use professional business tone with some technical depth for credibility. Please wait for further instructions. Now I'll copy the next prompt. We are now going to give it instructions on how to structure the proposal. So keep technical jargon minimal for the CFO, include return on investment, ROI, return on investment metrics, mention our 24/7 SOC monitoring, stay under 1,000 words total, reference the ransomware incident naturally versus dramatically. Now, this is the execution instruction. You may now proceed to develop the 3-page proposal. And here it goes. Now, it's also clearly identified what the acronyms stand for: Security Operations Center. And then it goes into developing the proposal. Now you'll notice in this example, the M dash. It's the long dash that connects phrases or words. Sometimes it has spaces, and sometimes there's a space before and after the M dash, or sometimes there is 0 space. When you train your AI model, which we will go into a demonstration in a few minutes, you can tell the AI in your communication document to avoid using the M dash and to rephrase all content without it. And then that way it will save you time in doing the search and replace of the M dash in your final content, because this is just a blaring telltale sign that you used AI to create this proposal. And so now it goes into the proposal and it states everything in a table format. And then now it asks you for next steps. So you can see how this chunking technique brings in the knowledge base of the AI model to focus on a particular task. And it greatly minimizes the degree of errors and hallucinations because it takes in one little piece of information in a chunk at a time, and it puts that into its memory and builds upon that instead of having the chain of thought into one big prompt. Because if we stated all of the prompts in the chunks in one prompt, this is when it starts to hallucinate. Okay, so let's go on to the next section. We've covered the M dash. We notice that right here. We've covered that. And this applies even to when you're writing LinkedIn posts, you're writing emails, because many companies now they've allowed their employees to use the AI models. For example, Microsoft uses ChatGPT. They've now upgraded to ChatGPT 5. Amazon Web Services, they use Anthropic Claude. And then, of course, Google Web Services, they use Gemini and all of their other related AI tools. So if your company has yet to implement the use of AI and give you permission to do so, I strongly discourage you from taking your company information and using it outside of the company parameters and into ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or whatever other AI model that you're looking at using, because that can be grounds for dismissal. And so take a look at your company policies, your employee agreements, to make sure that you are operating within the company parameters, the permissive parameters with the use of AI, and only use the AI tools that your company has provided you. So that's an important disclaimer. Now, so now getting back to the M dash and the telltale AI signs, you can train your AI to remove these. And I'm just going to go to the next section here, the personalization technique. So I'm going to go to a fresh chat. Now, AI, you can train your AI on samples of your writing. You can take emails that you've written to clients, original pieces of work, and have it analyze your writing style, and then you can use that document to then train your AI and have the AI reference that writing style to communicate like you. And the more you use your AI tool, the more it gets to know you. Because I'm at the point right now, for example, where I've utilized my communication style in my various AI tools to such a degree, extensive degree, that all I need to do is tell it, we've been working together for quite some time. You now know me and my communication style. That's all I need to say. And it acknowledges that yes, it then references my communication style, and then I can proceed to start chunking my prompts for the exercise that I want it to undertake. So we're going to be using a very simplified method. And I'm telling it that it is a global expert in psychometrics. And psychometrics are personality assessments like Myers-Briggs, there's Working Genius, Bank, Colors, DISC. These are all psychometric analyses. And telling it that it's a global expert in psychometrics, communication, branding, and digital marketing. You are in such high demand for your elite expertise that you have a 5-year waiting list for people who want to work with you. You also have an expertise in executive career coaching with a focus in the technology industry. Many top-level tech professionals are your private clients. Please wait for further instructions. Okay, now this is important. It's now taken that into its memory and it's paused. Now I'm telling it now that it has a new client and its overall objective is to create their voice profile as a reference guide when instructing their AI models to communicate like them. Please wait for further information. Then I'll move on to the next prompt. I'm giving it now more detailed structure. Please analyze their LinkedIn profile and LinkedIn posts as attached. From your analysis, create a detailed style guide that captures their communication tone, how they structure information and explanations, their sentence length and complexity patterns, technical terminology they use and how they use it, how they open and close communications, their natural voice and personality markers. Then create a voice profile document they can use when instructing their future AI writing to sound exactly like them. So what I've done is that I have taken someone's LinkedIn profile and I've downloaded it. And I've also taken a sample of their posts, their LinkedIn posts, and I've extracted it into a separate document. Okay. I want to make this next instruction clear so as to avoid identifying the person that I have captured their information. When providing your voice profile, avoid using their actual name in the documents. And refer to them as John Doe and company they work for. And the company they work for as company X. Okay. Oops. I have to upload. Pardon me. Here's the test LinkedIn profile. Here are the posts. are the documents to reference and developing your voice profile. So again, this is based on their LinkedIn profile content and also their LinkedIn posts. And you can see that it goes into a fairly detailed communication tone. And this profile that I extracted is a sales engineer. Okay, I'm using the free version, and I'm going to be moving to the paid version so I can continue the demonstration. But I want to show you that it's unnecessary to have a paid version unless you are going to be using it extensively like I do. So if you just want to use it for some very basic tasks, then you can use the free version. But if you're going to be using it extensively, the AI models, then you will have to upgrade to paid unless you were using, for example, Microsoft Copilot, then you have unlimited use. So then it goes into the information and explanation structure of the communication style, technical terminology usage. It has domains of AI, SaaS, ERP, cloud computing, etc. It goes into a very detailed analysis, how it opens and closes. The person does use emojis for attention in social posts, which is a clear indicator that AI has been used, because emojis are a telltale sign that a person has used AI to construct their posts. And then how they close, and their natural voice and personality markers. Again, this is the analysis of this particular individual. And then here's the AI instruction prompt template for this person. And they can just take this, and at the beginning of every prompt, or like myself, I've uploaded my communication profile into my AI models. So it references that every time. Okay, I'm going to copy this for future. I'm going to stop sharing this screen and move on to the paid version. All right. Now, let's move on to a LinkedIn profile review. And what I like to do is also utilize tools that other people have created, because instead of reinventing the wheel, using other people's tools just fast tracks the process. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to share a different screen here. Here it is. This is a free LinkedIn headline analyzer, and it's actually quite effective. So I'm going to just move over to LinkedIn and grab someone's headline. And this person is a channel sales engineer. And click to analyze. Now it wants you to sign up with email to obtain the results. So as you can see, the headline score is 33 out of 100. Just going to stop sharing for a moment. It seems to be hung up, little technical glitch. Just go back to that screen. Okay. Just bear with me for a moment. Okay. I'll go back to sharing. All right. Channel sales engineer. This is the only information in the headline. So click to analyze. Now it goes on to analyze the headline. It isn't clear how the person adds value to companies. And always end with, I help companies, or how do you help companies at the very end of your headline? The job title is clear. However, there are many other job titles for sales engineers that this person could also utilize, because when anyone does a Boolean search or looking for a sales engineer, they also use different titles that mean the same thing. And then the hard and soft skills, it has no hard or soft skills. So what does a channel sales engineer, what's the hard and soft skills? Use a minimum of 3 hard and soft skills. And the measurable metrics, it doesn't have any measurable metrics of how did they increase profits? How did they increase sales? What's the percentage? What's the volume? It's important to have that in there in the headline, because that is an attractant. People look at that. And when you're a sales engineer and you're wanting to show value of what you can provide your company and also to your clients, your customers, those metrics are very important to show in your headline. And then the headline, it's too short. So it's now giving examples. You want your job title, your skill 1, skill 2, skill 3. I help companies or clients, and then you insert your unique value proposition with measurable metrics. So here's a technical example: data analyst, R, Tableau, Power BI. I help e-commerce companies leverage big data to drive a 500% increase in customer retention. So, and here's, so that is just a sample of how you can utilize your headline and this tool, this free tool, and it's from Cultivated Culture. And I'll just put I'm going to put the URL in the Zoom chat. Okay. We have, that's about it for now. We do have, I hope this is of value to show you the various chunking techniques to provide the optimal output. We do have a few minutes for questions, and I see we have some. So who's monitoring questions?
Diana, you're on mute.
Well, I'm glad my face was talking. So we do have one from Palya Letic. So if you look in the chat, it's a little bit of wordy. So if you want to give it a read,
Oh,
but
yes.
basically it's about pulling some information out of PDF files that are fairly private. She had some trouble with some AI tools missing some things. I don't know if you have some recommendations for her.
Oh boy. Okay. Confidential PDFs. Are you using the company's AI tools? That's the critical question. It has to stay within the company's guardrails. If you're using confidential information, going outside using ChatGPT, publicly available, ChatGPT, Claude, Notebook LM, Gemini, that data is now going to be input into the public domain and training the AI models publicly. Avoid using any company information on public AI tools. Sorry, that's just the way it is. And so what I would suggest is taking those documents and chunking them, consolidating the documents, maybe one or two at a time, and into various documents, and chunking them into various prompts in your company's AI tool, and keeping those documents within the company's parameters. Because honest to goodness, I'll tell you right now, that is grounds for dismissal. Absolutely. So I hope this helps. Take those documents and separate them and use the chunking technique to analyze those documents with whatever it is that you're trying to do, and develop that chunking process to then execute on the final instruction. And when you're chunking, it's important to also state, please wait for further instruction. So as you were having your AI tool analyze, analyze, analyze. It's taking that information into memory. And then at the very end, you can tell it to execute on the final instruction. Okay, another question. How did I come up with the chunking prompts? Chunking prompts come from data science. This is what data scientists use. And it was actually quite interesting because I came up with the chunking technique when I first started using ChatGPT in late 2022, when it first became available, and I started having hallucinations, errors, and I thought something's going wrong here. So then I started chunking intuitively. Then I attended a Microsoft session with a data scientist, and he was talking about the chunking technique. And I thought, well, for goodness sakes, this is exactly what I'm doing. So I learned it through just problem solving, intuitive problem solving, and then had it validated through data science.
Well, there you go. Wonderful.
Hey, any other questions? None right now. Well, Diana, did you want to move into talking about NAASE and the benefits of joining NAASE and what NAASE provides?
Sure. Well, I have a couple of slides that we have prepared because we have a couple of new things coming up.
Okay.
And I will share my screen. Let me see. So back to our fabulous introduction slide.
Oh, and Diana, before you proceed, I notice another question from Sachin. I missed his later question. Are there best practices on how many chunks work best? None that I've discovered. So you can keep chunking, but keep each of those chunks of information focused. And then please wait for further information, chunk again, please wait for further information. However, if you're working with a free tool, the free version of various AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude, you will have a limit on because it goes on the token limit. But if you're working with a paid version, like I am, I'm just working on the basic paid version of various AI tools. I have never reached my limit yet. So thank you, Sachin. Diana, go ahead.
Well, that was a wonderful session, and thank you so much for joining us today. I definitely learned a lot. I've been using all of those tools, and it's definitely something that I will start doing a little bit more of the chunking. I always use so revise that with additional more information. So I kind of use a little bit of chunking, but I guess I called it a little bit different. So so anyhow, as we wrap up today, I just wanted to bring up a couple of things. Oh wait, no more questions. Oh, actually, before we go in, there is one more question from Lana. What's the most surprising AI restriction you've seen in a company policy? And then we'll go into more NAASE topics because this is important. Oh, Sandra, you're on mute.
Nothing has surprised me at all. So companies are becoming some companies have become very strict on basically prohibiting at all their employees from using outside AI tools. They are reluctant to give their employees AI tools to utilize because they have to purchase a seat, and there's all sorts of various other parameters that need to be considered when launching AI within a company, implementing AI within a company. There's legal considerations, corporate governance considerations, vendor contracts, client contracts, employee agreements have to be revisited. So there's a broader scope of what needs to be considered before a company decides to implement AI. So it's either they completely restrict or they only allow a little bit of use within the company parameters, let's say Copilot within Microsoft products, or they provide full use, full training within the AI models, the seats that they have assigned to various employees. So again, nothing has surprised me. I hope that answers your question, Lana.
Yeah, it's very hard to implement AI in a large corporation. There's a lot of legal parts. What I've also seen is consideration of, yes, you can restrict certain things, but what you put in when you're responding can be used against you, which a lot of people don't consider, like the responses that you put in. So it's not just about what data is used. So, all right. So back to NAASE. So a couple of exciting things have been going on since we last spoke. We have a new member portal that's live. So if you go to our NAASE website, there's a section where you can go in and you can create an account. So anyone can become a member of NAASE. And then if you would like to set up an account, you can just log in and it'll prompt you through to go through this scenario to get your login password. We also have the certification program that you can go and you can go through the prompt, and there's an additional path to get certified, which you might be familiar with. But if you go check out the website, we also started a course directory that we've curated some programs that you can go filter through. And some of these will help you kind of go through and see if you have time to take a course, if you have specific price requirements, you can go and filter through. These are a great place to start if you are looking to start learning a little bit more about sales engineering from different points in your career. And then we also have brought back the Sales Engineer of the Year contest. Sachin and I and our team have been hard at work kind of chopping out the various requirements and various exciting opportunities on opening this up to the wider audience and hopefully getting a lot more folks involved in this. Sachin, if you have any additional information on this, I know we've been talking about this for the last few months.
Yeah, I would just say anybody listening in, if you are a top performer SE and want to nominate yourself, or if you know people in your network that want to nominate the SEs for the top SE of the Year award, please do so now.
Yeah,
and share
you'll
the
find
link
this
with
information
others.
on the home website. We put it up here if you want to go there. There's a whole section on the left side. Just click the button and all the information is available to you there with all sorts of information. And we'll put it in the link, in the chat link, so you can just click there and go in.
Yeah, I would say within the last 2
Yeah.
months, the NAASE website has grown so much. There are so many amazing resources so please check out and bookmark it as we're continuously adding more and more resources for the SE teams.
Wonderful.
And if I may make a comment, I just put the link, the direct link to the course directory, and I encourage everyone on this call to go to that course directory. You will be surprised as to the various amount of courses that are available, free and paid, and there's a very wide selection. So a lot of work has gone into that and to support the NAASE members. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions before we close off the session today?
Sandra, this was great. Thank you for
Yeah.
those insights. I learned a lot, and I'm definitely going to bookmark the headline analyzer and
I know,
start
I already have
chunking
it
going
up.
forward. Yes. We all got to score ourselves to see how we're performing in that.
I already scored myself and I'm not happy, so I want to go back.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Okay, take care.
Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.